I wanted to make this quick video in the hopes that I could help just one person, the pain and agony I went through about 5 years ago. And that is simply just to show how mice can get into your house and what you can do to solve the problem. So about 5 years ago, I had the problem where every winter I would have mice get into my house. And what would happen is they would somehow get into my attic and nest up there. And then late at night, when mice typically feed, they would crawl down from the attic, down inside my walls, and burrow a hole through my baseboards into my kitchen or into my living room. And late at night, each night from my bedroom, I would hear them. I would hear them tiptoe around in search of food, or I would hear the mouse traps go off, and typically late at nights, that's when they would come out. So I had this problem for several years where mice would get in the winter. Then it would take me months, sometimes 2 or 3 or 4 months to get completely rid of them. And it drove me absolutely nuts that I didn't know for the life of me how they were getting into my house. So researching like crazy online, I found this guy with a blog, and he had a mouse problem for years and found the solution. And it just so happens that this was the exact same way that mice were getting into my house. So when looking at how mice get into your house, you have to look at your house from a mouse's perspective. You have to look low and then you have to look up. See, the way my house was constructed was half with brick and half with siding, as with how many other houses are constructed. And it was specifically where the brick and the siding met together where the problem was happening. That's how the mice were getting in. More specifically, at the corners of my house where the brick and the siding met. See, mice have no problem climbing brick. It's very easy for them. And at the corners of my house, there was only a flimsy little metal cap that would enclose this large channel that ran all the way to the inside of my attic. All a mouse would simply have to do was just to climb the brick and squeeze its way inside this little metal cap, and bingo, he had a perfect pathway to climb inside this channel all the way inside my attic. And this is probably the first place you want to look if you have brick and siding construction on your house. So when I removed this flimsy metal cap, I noticed there were mouse droppings from the mice as they climbed inside the channel up into my attic. So I knew without any doubt that this is how they were getting in. And the solution is actually very simple. See, mice can't chew through steel wool. Steel wool is your best friend when it comes to mice because mice can't get through it. So in my case, I used several pieces of steel wool pushed up inside the channel and then sealed it completely with a silicone gun. And sometimes the channel might be too big. I had one of the channels, it was too big to put steel wool in. So I cut a block of wood about 4 or 5 inches long and just kind of stuffed it inside the channel, then followed it up with steel wool, and then followed it up again with silicone. So you pretty much just want to go to each corner of your house and look at where the siding and the brick meet. And if you have the same problem that I did, remove that metal cap, fill it full of steel wool, then follow it up with silicone. Then you also want to just go do a general inspection around the brick and see if there's any cracks in the concrete around the bricks. And again, use steel wool, then follow it up with a silicone gun and completely fill those cracks up. See, the thing is, once mice get in one time, they leave a scent. And that's how you have a consistent mouse problem year after year. It's by the scent that mice smell and they get into the same areas that they've gone into year after year. So I just wanted to share this story, and I read this blog online. It saved me years and years of hassle and trouble of having mice get into my house year after year. I hope it helps, and remember to use steel wool to plug up any holes or cracks in your bricks. So I just want to share that story. Thanks a lot for watching. Appreciate it.